Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our show. And now here's your host, Jimmy Football, Jimmy Snooker.
Cricket.
Oh, that's it. Yes, yes. The one and only Jimmy Cricket.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. You're very, very welcome. And thank you for joining us. Excuse me, folks, a little froggy in the throat. Thank you for joining us for this Yuletide show filled with festive fun and frivolity. Now, if I ask you an answer, will you give me a question? Come here, lean over. Have you done your Christmas shopping? A bit of a mixed response there. I've been to Trafford Park last week, and the day I went, there was a power cut. All the electricity went off. The whole place was plunged into darkness. I was stood in the escalator for 2.5 hours. It wouldn't budge. And this fella shouts up, "Hey, you, why don't you walk down?" I said, "Because I'm supposed to be going up." I mean, what sort of a question was that? And then I bumped into this fella, and he was carrying one of them big grandfather clocks. He said, "Why don't you look where you're going?" I said, "And why don't you wear a wristwatch like everybody else?" I mean, we don't get the service these days, do we, ladies and gentlemen? Come here, pull your seats forward. I went into a shop. I said, 2 bottles of milk. He said, "We have none." I went back the next day. I said, 2 bottles of milk. He said, look you, we don't sell milk. If you come in here again, I'm going to nail your foot to the floor." I went back the next day. I said, "Have you got any nails?" He said, "No." I said, "With 2 bottles of milk." Oh, there's more. It was the same in the bacon counter in Tesco's. I said, "1/2 pound of bacon." He said, "Lean back." Well, you can finish the rest yourselves. And what about the chemist a week last Tuesday? I said, "Chemist a week last Tuesday, have you got anything for hiccups?" He smacked me right on the nose. I said, "What did you do that for?" He said, "You don't have any hiccups now?" I said, "No, but my uncle out in the car still has." But this is the time of year when we all think back to our childhood, don't we, everybody? I think back to my childhood in Ireland. There was lots of love in the house, but not much on the table on Christmas Day. For vegetables, we had 1 carrot. We got that from the snowman's nose. I mean, how he breathed, I'll never know. I was passing the oven door and I heard a knock from inside. See, that's inside. See, that would be outside. I opened it up and there was the turkey. He said, "Either put 50p in or give me my feathers back. It's freezing in here." But I'm happy to say I'm going to be home. I'm going to be home this Christmas, ladies and gentlemen. Last Christmas, I was in this strange hotel. I'd never met it before. I rang down to reception. I said, "Reception, who I rang down to, come closer to the phone. I want to complain about the chambermaid. She's taken the sheets too tight onto the mattress." The receptionist said, "Well, come down and we'll talk about it." I said, "I'd love to, but I can't get out of bed." And would you believe that weekend, ladies and gentlemen, was taken over, the hotel was taken over by chess players. I can't play chess. I can play drafts. I mean, that's easy enough. You just open and close the door. But I could never play chess. But I had my tea with one of the players the night before. I could tell he was a chess player. It took him 10 minutes to pass the salt. Right? Now, down in reception, all these chess players all met up. And they all started to talk about all the games they'd won and all the people that... And to be honest, they drove the manager mad. He ran out. He said, "Right, you lot, I've had enough. Out." And one of them said, "Why?" He said, "The one thing I hate is chestnuts boasting in an open fire." And now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take it to a large departmental store somewhere in the UK where the general manager is about to have a word with one of his employees.
that a knock on the door? Come in. Mr. Adams, take a seat. Now, how long have you worked as Father Christmas in this store?
What time is it now?
4:15.
Well, I started at 10 this morning.
That was your first mistake. You should have been here at 9.
Why? What happened?
There were parents and children waiting to see Father Christmas at that time. Did you set your alarm for 8?
Well, I'm the only one in the bedroom.
Listen, I have it in good authority that when you did eventually turn up, you rushed through the grotto in your pajama top sticking out of your Santa outfit, uttering the words, and I quote, "Sorry folks, but there was a massive traffic jam just outside Lapland."
Well, I thought I would start the day off with a joke.
Mr. Adams, you are a joke. At 10:15 precisely, I received a text from a parent. It reads, "My 4-year-old son was sat on his knee, and I distinctly heard Santa say to him, 'Pull my beard again, you little twerp, and I'll give you a knuckle sandwich.'"
Yes, sir, but it's my own beard. It's not a false one, you know.
Yeah, so I've noticed. I've also noticed that it's not a white beard, which is customary colour for Father Christmas.
Ah, yes. I ran out of dye colouring.
Yeah. I presume that's the reason you're sitting opposite me with a beard which is white down one side and black down the other?
I'm afraid so, sir.
It got worse for you, Mr. Adams. I've also had one parent on the phone who said you were talking to his 5-year-old daughter when you stopped to pick up your mobile and place a bet on a horse called Rudolph in the 3 o'clock race at Haydock with Ladbrokes, the bookmakers.
I thought because it snowed last night, the going would suit him.
Mr. Adams, I've been bombarded with complaints. There are some things an in-store Father Christmas does not do. He does not say to one of the children's mothers, "You're fit," at which I bought my mistletoe. He doesn't point to one of the grotto elves and shout, "Come on, folks, have a selfie with an elfie for 50p. And he definitely does not say to a heavily pregnant sales assistant, "I see you're in the Christmas pudding club."
I just wanted to cheer them up.
And we're only at lunchtime. Vera, the staff canteen manageress, has told me about the sherry trifle.
I do like a spoonful of sherry.
Spoonful? A spoonful? She said when she wasn't looking, you polished off the whole bottle of the stuff and then proceeded to invite her to rock around the Christmas tree with you. When she refused, what do? You staggered over the tree yourself and fell into it, knocking the whole thing over.
I didn't realize, those pine needles could be so painful. Now I know what it's like to get acupuncture.
Oh yes, and now you know what it's like to be a fairy on top of a Christmas tree. Mr. Adams, you're rude, ill-mannered, slovenly, incompetent, and totally inconsiderate.
Well, nobody's perfect.
That's it. You're also fired.
Well, if that's your attitude, I'm going back to my old job.
What was that?
A traffic warden. And now it's time, folks, for a musical interlude to sing one of her favorite Christmas songs. Will you welcome the delightful voice of Miss May Marian?
Silver bells, though a silver bell, it's Christmas time in the city. Ring-a-ling, you can hear them ring. Soon it will be Christmas Day. City sidewalks, busy sidewalks, dressed in holiday style. In the air there's a feeling of Christmas. Children laughing, people passing, meeting smile after smile. And on every street corner you who knows it? Silver bell, silver bell, or Christmas makes you feel emotional. It may bring heartaches or thoughts devotional. Whatever happens on what may be, here is what Christmas time means to me. Silver bell, silver bell, it's Christmas time in the city. Ring-a-ling, you can hear them ring. Soon it will be Christmas Day, for soon it will be Christmas Day. Merry Christmas!
Thank you, May, for that beautiful rendition of that classic Christmas song. And I'd like to do a little poem now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Little Tommy woke early on Christmas morn and wiped the sleep from his eyes. As he undid the presents onto the tree, there were a few he recognized. "They're your old ones, Tommy," his mummy said. She had a look he'd seen before. She had it just a few months before when his dad had walked out the door. "But there's a letter here from Santa," she said, sitting him on the bed. "He's addressed it specially to you, Tommy. And look, this is what he said. Dear Tommy, this is Santa. I'm sorry. The toys I had for you all fell through. A hole in the bottom of my sack." "Don't worry, Mummy," said Tommy, wiping away a tear. "There's always the presents under the tree he bought me last year." Just then the doorbell rang. It was Tommy's pal, Daniel, with his brand new bike. After he let Tommy have a ride round, he said, "Come on, Tommy. What's your presents like?" "Santa's had an accident," said Tommy, and back into the house he went. And a few minutes later, his Mummy came out and read the letter that Santa had sent. Then the doorbell rang again. It was Daniel's mum, Mrs. Moore. She said, "This present's for Tommy. By mistake, it landed right outside our door." She was followed by a dozen neighbours or more, and they all said the same. "Look, we found these presents on our rooftops, and they've all got Tommy's name." By now, Tommy was oh so happy. He said, "Mummy, let's send Santa a note." So they got him some paper and a pen, and this is what they wrote. "Dear Santa, don't worry. All my friends came through with the toys that fell through the bottom of your sack."
Well, good evening and welcome to this week's edition of Mastermind. Our first contestant is Harvey the Elf, and you're from?
Lapland.
And your chosen subject is Christmas.
That is correct.
Okay. The time starts now. If an elf moved from the South Pole to the North Pole, what would it mean?
It means he would be up the pole.
Correct. When Santa was a kid, what was his favorite game on school sports day?
The sack race.
Correct. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. What line denotes how well Rudolph will do in one of his subjects in school?
You'll go down in history.
Correct. In the name of a game that's played in homes all over the land each Christmas, the second and third words are the parcel. What's the first word?
Pass.
Correct again. What do you say to a cheeky turkey?
Get stuffed.
Correct again. What goes ho 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 kong?
Santa laughing his head off.
Correct again. Why did nobody bid for Donna and Blisson on eBay?
Because they were too dear.
Correct. If Santa calls at a house and they haven't left any food out for him, he has been known to utter the phrase, "These people are not worth a..."
Carrot.
Correct. A line in the song, Good King Wenceslas, tells how Santa loves his pizza. What is it?
Deep and crisp and even.
Okay, correct. Here we go now. In Charles Dickens' story, A Christmas Carol, why didn't Scrooge recognize Marley?
He knew nothing about reggae music.
Correct. In the same novel, when Bob Cratchit ate a packet of crisps, what was it a case of?
A crotchet eating a quiver.
Yes, correct. Yeah. Okay, when you get mugged under the mistletoe, what happens to your money?
You can kiss it goodbye.
Technical one now, okay? If one of Santa's reindeers gets an iPhone, it would mean he'd have one reindeer with a red nose and one with...
A Bluetooth.
Correct. Musical question now, right? What did Fred Astaire sing when someone emptied a plate of Christmas pudding over him?
Pudding on my top hat.
Correct. Well, Harvey the Elf, you passed on all the questions, so I'm happy to say you've gone from the nice list, but you're not on the naughty. Okay?
Yes! Now, folks, after that sketch, we could do with another nice festive song. And who better to sing it than the man with the golden tonsils himself, Mr. Jonathan Young.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire, Jack Frost nipping at your nose, Yuletide carols being sung by a choir, and folks dressed up like Eskimos. Everybody knows a turkey and some mistletoe helps to make the season bright. Tiny tots with their eyes all aglow will find it hard to sleep tonight. They know that Santa's on his way. He's loaded lots of toys and goodies in his sleigh, and every mother's child is gonna spy to see if the reindeers really know how to fly. And so I'm offering this simple phrase to kids from 1 to 92. Although it's been said many times, many ways, Merry Christmas to you. They know that Santa's on his way. He's loaded lots of toys and goodies in his sleigh, and every mother's child is gonna spy to see if the reindeers really know how to fly. And so I'm offering this simple phrase to kids from 1 to 92. Although it's been said many times, many ways, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas to you. Merry Christmas. Thank you.
Good, John. That was lovely. And thank you also for doing some announcing and helping me with the sketches.
No trouble at all, Jimmy.
And I don't know if you know or not, folks, but I wrote a play about a fictional comedy double act on their last night in show business. It was called No More Fiffin' and Faffin', and Jonathan actually played the straight man, Joe Fiffin.
Actually, I've been always wanting to ask you about that, Jimmy. Why did you get me to play the straight man, Joe Fiffin, instead of asking somebody like Tommy Cannon or even Sid Little?
Well, I did, but they wanted more money.
Oh, they want to pay, did they? Yeah. Well, in that case, I want to thank you for helping me realize that money isn't everything. Now, can I ask you for a favor?
Certainly.
Would you like to join me in my next song?
Sure, if I know it.
Oh, you'll know this one.
Why is that?
You wrote it. It's called We Built a Snowman Together. Remember?
It's all coming back to me. We built a snowman together right next to a tree. Then came the warmer weather and it melted like sugar in tea. We had such fun with that snowman. We laughed and we sang along. Now in that spot there's no man. Just like you, he's gone. Now when I look out my window, I can still see the tree. It happens to be a willow, and it seems to be weeping for me. I saw a plastic snowman today. It was in a shop for sale. When I saw it, I thought of the girl I knew, and a love that wasn't real. Little instrumental coming up here, actually.
Yes, very nice. The guitar player is very nice.
Yes, he's a local man. Tony Hallsworth, he's called. I use him a lot.
Yeah, he must work cheap. I can feel the Christmas spirit in me.
Yes. Here in St. Vincent's, the snowdrops are coming down outside the window. Now when I look out that window, I can still see the tree. It happens to be a willow, and it seems to be weeping for me. I saw a plastic snowman today. It was in a shop for sale. When I saw it, I thought of a girl I knew, and a love that wasn't real. When I saw it, I thought of a girl I knew, and a love that wasn't real.
Written by Jimmy Cricket. Hey.
Thank you, ladies. No, don't encourage me. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it wouldn't be Christmas without a letter from my mummy. Dear son, ever since your father found out this coronavirus came from a bat, he hasn't watched a cricket match. Well, Christmas is soon upon us, son, and because of the expense of stamps, etc., I'm not sending any Christmas cards out this year. I've wrote letters to all my friends and told them that. But your nephew Nathan will not be taking up his job as Father Christmas in the local store. Somebody told him that he'd be getting the sack on the first day. His little 6-year-old son Timothy thinks Santa has moved from Lapland. He pointed to underneath his toy truck where it said, "Made in China." Do you remember last year when it snowed heavily and your nephew Kieran escaped from the local jail by putting a white sheet over himself? Do you also remember that halfway down the road he was run over by a snowplow? I can't believe how big the turkey was last year. After your father ate the wings, he felt like flying. After your Uncle Patrick ate the legs, he felt like running. I just felt like sitting there. I hope we get better weather this year, son. Last Boxing Day, we had one of the worst storms in living memory. You know Mrs. Murphy next door but one? She's now next door but 25. The wind blew a slate off our roof and it just missed my shoulder by 6 inches. It hit me on the head. Your father had a narrow escape. He was passing the pub and a gust of wind blew him inside. I rang BT to tell them the phone was cut off. They rang back to say they were looking into it. It's a good job the electricity wasn't cut off, otherwise we'd have had to watch the telly in the dark. I've never seen gales like it, son. One gust of wind blew our bedroom window open, and your father and I out of bed, out of the window and into the street. It's the first time we've been out together for years. A happy Christmas, son, from everybody here in Ireland. Well, folks, I'd like to finish our show with a little vocal offering myself. It revolves around an incident that happened 27 years ago when the late, great Sir Ken Dodd bought me a pair of concrete Wellingtons for my 50th birthday. When they were pinched from my garden, it created a lot of media interest. So much so that my fellow comedian, Bernie Clifton, wrote me an email. It said, "Let me know when you've had enough publicity and I'll bring them back." The song's called Santa, Bring My Wellies Back to Me, and you can join in, everybody. Santa, bring my wellies back to me. Without them I'm as lonely as can be. It would really make my day if you put them on your sleigh and I found them underneath the Christmas tree. It was a fateful day, the 23rd of May. I looked out and saw them disappear. Now I've searched high and low, but everyone says no, so I'm asking the man in the white beard. Santa, bring my wellies back to me. Without them I'm as lonely as can be. It would really make my day if you put them on your sleigh and I found them underneath the Christmas tree. Now as we go through life, we'll have our share of strife and bad times round the corner, you can bet. But I was so shocked that day, my blue sky turned to grey and I haven't got over it yet. Santa, bring my wellies back to me. Without them I'm as lonely as can be. It would really make my day if you put them on your sleigh and I found them underneath the Christmas tree. Now some like chestnuts roasting or marshmallows toasting or holly hanging up on their front door. But if I got you know what, I'd be happy with my lot. And I wouldn't want anything more. Come on, everybody. Santa, bring my wellies back to me. Without them, I'm as lonely as can be. It would really make my day if you put them on your sleigh and I found them underneath the Christmas tree. Once again, Santa, bring my wellies back to me. Without them, I'm as lonely as can be. It would really make my day if you put them on your sleigh and I found them underneath the Christmas tree. It would really make my day if you put them on your sleigh and I find them underneath the Christmas tree. Thank you, everyone. I'd like to thank my special guest, Mr. Jonathan Young, Miss May Marion, and the live audience here at St. Vincent's Parish Hall in Northern Rochdale. And if you do happen to listen to the show on podcast in the next few weeks leading up to Christmas, and you would like to make a donation, however small, to the Francis House Children's Hospice in Didsbury, Manchester, via the Just Giving page on my website, it would be warmly welcomed and appreciated. Happy Christmas, everyone!